Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. Chet, spring training is right around the corner, and Dave Dombrowski says we're set. I kind of have a feeling you might have something to say about that. The Flyers trying to recover after losing 6 in a row. They win, and last night had their heart cut out for them with a terrible loss. Sixers have some all-star news, and you're going to tell us all about the Philly Sports Writers Banquet you attended last night. It looks like it was great. We have plenty to talk about in Philly sports.
Yeah, that we do, Bill. And right off the top, a reminder to hit those like buttons and, whether you're watching on the YouTube channel or Facebook, and also do us a solid and subscribe to our Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel. You'll be glad you did. We have a great one for all Philly sports fans tonight with the bearded one in the waiting room and raring to go.
That's right. Well, let's get to it. Let's welcome the host of Trending in the AM, the beard of knowledge, as you say. Phil Stiefel is back on Philly Pressbox Radio. Phil, welcome.
What's up? It's great to be back, but this is the first time I've been back in my home studio on the show with you guys. So, it feels good to be on the home base here for this. No distractions in the background anymore.
Well, let's get right to that, as a matter of fact. First things first, for people who don't know, you were the owner of a successful pizza shop in Kennett Square for nearly 18 years, I think, but you sold it about a month after we last talked to you, October, November. Congrats on that. So how is semi-retirement treating you?
Yeah, we're calling it a hiatus, so to speak, from working for now. And, it's great. It's something that my wife and I want to do for a long time. When I was on the show last time with you guys, I knew it was coming, but we were keeping it a pretty big secret because I don't know if you guys know, there's a lot that could fall through when you're selling a business and all. So it was something we had to keep under wraps for a while. But I will say this, for your audience that doesn't watch the regular morning show, I'm going to say this, that the Eagles' collapse is directly correlated to the pizza shop sale. And we did lose 3 or 4 straight games after I sold the pizza shop. Everything fell apart after I sold the pizza shop. So I apologize to Eagles Nation. I apologize to Kevin Patullo. Him losing his job, that's all my fault right there.
Bill, you got the first question. Go ahead.
Well, it was funny that you said that, Phil, because I was going to say, what have you been doing since you sold the shop? And now we know you've been voodooing the Philadelphia Eagles.
Pretty much just voodoo. I'm on YouTube, or I'm taking that little voodoo doll, and I'm sticking needles in the back of it and stuff like that. When Chet falls down the stairs, that's normally because I've got his voodoo doll and I throw it across my basement. That's basically what's happening right there.
Oh, good deal.
Well, since you mentioned the Eagles, Phil, let's start there. The season ended way sooner than we all had hoped for. Now they're searching for an offensive coordinator, of course. That's been the case for just about a week now. Where do you see this going?
First and foremost, where I see it going is that fans are overreacting. I'm seeing the fans' overreaction being way too much of a big deal right now, okay? The Eagles are being patient. They're doing their due diligence, and they're going through all the they're checking all the boxes when they're interviewing these candidates. And there's this huge thing talked about that – I'm sorry about that, Adam. I apologize. There's this thing that everybody's worried that nobody wants to come here, right? And nobody wants to coach here because all these coordinators want full autonomy. I don't even think half the people that are using the word autonomy had ever even heard of the word autonomy before they started talking about it with this offensive coordinator search. People don't realize Kellen Moore didn't have full autonomy. Shane Steichen didn't have full autonomy over the offense. This has been Nick Sirianni's team in offense since day one. And you know what? In 5 years, he's the winningest coach in Eagles history and the only coach to take us to 2 Super Bowls. So you know what? I have faith in Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni with what they're doing in this interview process to make sure they get the guy that fits their big plan and big picture right now. You want everybody on the same page. So I am actually okay when they lose out on guys because they want to go coach in Tennessee or wherever it may be. It's okay. I just want the right guy. I don't necessarily need the biggest name.
Phil, since you mentioned that, let me go to this little clip because a lot of the discussion this week is coming from something that came out of Diana Rossini, who was on WIP on, I think, Tuesday afternoon with the afternoon guys. And here's what she had to say when Spike asked her a question.
Do you think the Eagles' offensive coordinator job is an attractive job?
No, I don't. I think coordinators that are on this list are aware that navigating Philly is difficult. And I mean, because of the way it's set up right now, who's on the team and really what it's going to look like in the next few months.
Phil?
Yeah, it's that's a nonsense clip right there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's nonsense. That's what I was going to say. That's nonsense.
Look,
yeah.
Can I, before you go, Bill, can I say one thing before you comment on the video itself? Why is everyone like taking this so seriously? During the season, everyone bashed her every second she made any kind of rumored comment about the Eagles. Now, all of a sudden, after the season ends, we believe everything like it's gold coming out of her mouth. Like, come on now. Go ahead.
Well, and we've heard everything from Nick Sirianni to Jalen Hurts. Now it's Jeff Stoutland is the problem, and the fans are the problem for egging the house. Everybody's a problem. In the meantime, some of these guys like Brian Dable and some others are going to get head coaching jobs. They're not quitting on the Eagles deal. They're getting better opportunities to be head coaches. You got to take them.
I agree. And you know what else is interesting? You know, saying this job is not attractive. You've got a head coach that's been to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years and made the playoffs all 5 years. You've got a GM that has built 3 Super Bowl rosters in the last 9 years, and you've got a quarterback. What is, let me ask you guys a question. What is Jalen Hurts' floor and what's his ceiling? Because I already know what the answer is, what his floor and ceiling is. And how is that not attractive to other people, really?
Bill, you take that one.
Well, I mean, I'm a Hurts guy. He definitely didn't play well down the stretch. I'm with you. A lot of things didn't go well, but there were a lot of other things that didn't go well too, mainly the offensive line. That's where I'll start. And then A.J. Brown comes into play, and Hurts comes into play. He didn't play well. Play calling was suspect. I'm all on board with that, but I'm not giving up on Jalen Hurts for even a second.
What's his floor? His floor is reaching the playoffs every year. His ceiling is Super Bowl MVP champion. And in between there, it's still Super Bowl outperform Patrick Mahomes in a losing effort. So I don't want to hear nonsense that's not an attractive job. Maybe it's not the right fit for Brian Dable or Mike McDaniel, but it's still an attractive job. And I don't know all your careers, like every job you guys have ever had, but I'm assuming at some point you guys went on interviews, and at some point you interviewed people, right, for jobs. Did you always get every job you interviewed for? Did you always hire every candidate that you interviewed? No. So I think there's so much overreaction to those two guys getting jobs or going wherever else, and it's insanity. It really is.
I like Hurts. I'm just not sure that he's elite, so we can differ on that. But
it doesn't matter whether he's elite or not.
Right.
You know, he's still going to lead you to the playoffs at a minimum every single year. So how is that not attractive?
Since I played the Diana Rossini clip, let me give you the counterpoint. And this is Greg Olson, who was on the New Heights podcast yesterday with, Jason and Travis. This is what he had to say about the opening.
I love Sirianni, and I know he gets a lot of flack and people want to come after him. I love him. I love his energy. I love his edge. I love the way he manages the game. And I end up fighting the entire universe on behalf of him a couple weeks ago. If I'm an offensive play caller, I'm doing everything in my power to get that job. That's a great job.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing that's getting lost in the shuffle here is the talent is still there. The talent on the field isn't changed. It's going to change a little bit, but for the most part, the core is coming back. So all this panic about what's going on is, and hopefully they're coming back healthy next time. But the tank is still full.
I mean, you're exactly right on that. I mean, literally, like this team, people are acting like they're acting like it's the 2020 Eagles again, where we go from the playoffs to what were we, 4-12 that year or something like that? Like the sky is not falling. The world is not ending. You still have a Super Bowl caliber roster on offense and defense. And Howie Roseman is an elite GM. Jalen Hurts might not be an elite quarterback to you, Jim, but Howie Roseman is an elite GM, one of the best in the game, and he's going to have the roster filled out again to compete for a title again next year. The Super Bowl window has not closed. The Super Bowl era is not over. Eagles fans just need to relax. Chill out. Calm down.
I'm with you.
Phil, will that roster include number 11, and should it include A.J. Brown?
That is like literally the hardest question of the entire offseason, in my opinion, and I literally have no idea whether he'll be here or not. But I will say this. He absolutely should be still here unless you get blown away by a massive offer. Like A.J. Brown does not grow. You can't get that caliber wide receiver anywhere. You lose him, this offense takes a step backwards. Not because of the OC or the play caller, because you're losing one of the best wide receivers in football. It's not easily replaced. I think Howie will trade him if the right offer is on the table, but he is not going to just give him away. Unless you're coming to the table with a second-round pick and a starting player or a first-round pick, Howie's just going to hang up on you, plain and simple. And I did this thing on my show the other day, and I don't remember all the names. I went through the last 10 major wide receiver trades, and the range of what wide receivers gets traded for. Sometimes you got top-tier wide receivers going for first- and second-round picks. Sometimes you got them going. Amari Cooper a few years ago, when he was still a really Pro Bowl level wide receiver, went for a 6th-round pick. So the range of what wide receivers get traded for is so wide that unless Howie gets a big offer, he's not doing it. He's just not. And you're just going to have to deal with disgruntled A.J. Brown again, and that's okay.
Yeah, and, Phil, I have a couple of contacts that told me actually last year, depending on how the draft fell, and that Travis Hunter trade that jumped up to number 2 to Jacksonville kind of messed things up. But depending on how that fell, that number 4 pick was going to come to the Eagles for A.J. Brown. That was it. That was in the mix. That was real.
That's interesting. I did not hear that rumor or anything like that, but that's something that Howie Roseman would say no problem to, right? Like that's a no-brainer. But outside of that, he's not going to accept. People keep saying the Patriots 3rd-round pick. He doesn't want no 3rd-round pick for A.J. Brown. I don't know if you guys heard this. It was earlier this season, like the second big blow-up with A.J. Brown. Jason Kelce was on Monday Night Football, and he actually broke down in tears talking about his relationship with Lane Johnson. And earlier in the days, they had a beef just like A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. Best friends, ended up with a beef, didn't speak for 6 months, and now they're still best friends. So Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown are grown men. If they want their relationship to work, they can figure it out.
Hey, Phil, I do want to talk Sixers and Phillies with you, but I have one more NFL question. The conference championships are now set. Patriots, Broncos, Denver, of course, without their starting quarterback, and Seahawks, Rams. Who's going to the Super Bowl and who takes the Lombardi Trophy?
Oh, man. It's going to be so tough for the Broncos without Bo Nix. It's not a knock on Jarrett Stidham, but Jarrett Stidham is Jarrett Stidham. You know what I mean? Never started a playoff game. It's got like 4 or 5 career starts. Yeah. Unfortunately, if Bo Nix was there, I'd be predicting the Denver Broncos winning that game. But without that, it's the Patriots. I think the Rams will beat Seattle, but I'm going to be rooting for the Seahawks because I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. And I'm not a fan of Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, but Sam Darnold can be the first quarterback from his NFL draft class, the 2018 draft, to play in the Super Bowl over Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and all the rest. Sam Darnold could be the first one to start a Super Bowl. So I'm pushing for Seattle, but I think it's going to be the Rams. And winning that game, if it's Seattle, I think the Seattle Seahawks could beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but I think the Rams would be. So the NFC team will be the one that wins the Super Bowl. I'll be a little devil. I'll just kind of play it in the middle there.
It's funny because that AFC game you mentioned the quarterback situation. Sean Payton is a really good football coach, and he's not going to mail this game in.
Oh, not at
all. I'm really kind of interested. On paper, this is all New England, but the game isn't played on paper. Vegas doesn't seem to think the game is played on paper, as that line is pretty close considering it's a backup quarterback coming in. So it'll be fun to watch. But hey, Phil, moving on. Dave Dombrowski says we're set. What do you think?
I'm content, Aren't you guys content? Come on now. It's laughable.
Not exactly.
I will go very broad stroke with this comment here, okay? I got asked a question on Trending in the AM on today's morning show, and there's actually a poll question on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel running live right now. Are the Phillies closer, I was asked, to missing the playoffs or winning a World Series? And I hate to break it to you, it's missing the playoffs that they're closer to than winning a World Series. Running it back for the 5th year in a row. When was the last time the Phillies ran it back 5 years in a row? 2012. And what happened in 2012? And what did that team embark on after that in 2012? 9 years of playoff droughts.
Yep.
I am scared out of my mind for what this season might bring.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, Rob Thompson still likes the pitching staff, but there are a lot of questions, with Suarez gone and Wheeler coming back off the health issues. Andrew Painter still an unknown as far as a major leaguer. So what do you think of the starting rotation?
I think the starting rotation's got question marks for sure. No doubt about it. I'm very high on Andrew Painter. I don't take into account too much his stats last year in AAA. I think he was just working on things. He knew he wasn't getting the call. We thought he was, but he knew he was, and he was working. He basically had a season-long spring training last year, and you never take into account spring training stats for pitchers, so I don't take into account Andrew Painter. I think Andrew Painter will be fine. Taijuan Walker also will be starting until Zach Wheeler's back, and Taijuan Walker gets crapped on a lot in the city, but I give him so much credit for the season he did, doing whatever was asked of him, start, relief, and he did solidly considering the year before. So you know what? The starting pitching is going to be a problem, but not as big of a problem as people think. I think the offense is a bigger issue than anything else.
Well, I think if you look at the moves they made and you compare them to what they had, this is not a better team right now than it was the one that left us in October. And that's the troubling part to me. I don't see that they're better.
My question is, John Middleton talks about, wanting his trophy back, right? And he's this rich billionaire. And I know he's not the only owner. Other owners have to sign off on things. But let me tell you something. You're not out of money. They just don't want to spend any more money. And the money they have spent, they spent in the wrong places. Plain and simple. You've got far too many old, aging players that are under contract for the next 4, 5, 6 years. It's a problem. You got Zach Wheeler for only one more year, but Aaron Nole's contract is terrible. You got Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. Their contracts are going to age poorly, in my opinion. And you just gave 3 years to JT Realmuto. It's going to be 38 years old when that contract's up. It's not good. All the money is spent in the wrong places. You gave Kyle Schwarber. I was just going to say, Kyle Schwarber, he might not age as quickly because he's just a DH, but you just gave $150 million to a DH when your team has holes all over the place. I didn't want to lose Schwarber, but I was okay if they said no. I would have taken that Schwarber money and spent it in 100 different places, and you might have a better roster. You might have lost your leader, but you would have a better roster. And Dave Dombrowski, I'll just say this. I think the game's passed him by. This is his last go-around. I think by the end of this season, he will be gone unless a miracle happens, which I just don't see happening.
Well, Phil, in addition to losing Bo Bichette to the Mets, those Mets also signed Luis Robert and just added the pitcher, Peralta, last night. So are the Phillies still the best team in the National League East, or have the Mets overtaken them again?
On paper, they are not the best team in the National League East. Not at all. The Mets are. But we know what the Mets do. The Mets Met. I know it's like a you're going to look it up in a dictionary and see. Mets Met. Met team is an actual verb. But on paper, the Mets are the way better team on paper. But they have been about a dozen times over the last dozen years, so it hasn't really worked out for them. Look, on the Bo Bichette thing, I don't know if the Phillies were actually really in play for him ever. I really, truly believe the narrative that he played us to get more money elsewhere, more years elsewhere. Dombrowski saying, well, we thought we had a deal. Until that's signed, you don't have a deal. You're telling me you couldn't match or make an adjustment to your deal. I don't think he ever really, truly wanted to give Bo Bichette $200 million. I really don't.
And I don't want him to. I have no problem with not getting Bichette. He's got Alec Bohm numbers. He's not that guy, and he's got to change positions, and he wasn't good at the first position he was playing. So
I think Bo Bichette's a slight improvement over Bohm, but I said this on my show many a times. You get rid of, because they were going to get rid of Alec Bohm if they signed Bo Bichette.
Right.
Bo Bichette or Alec Bohm and JT Realmuto, what's better? Alec Bowman, JT Realmuto is probably better than Boba Bichette.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Absolutely. Well, go ahead,
Bill.
Well, I was going to say, where do you stand with Nick Castellanos? I say he doesn't make it to camp, which is only 3 weeks away. What say you?
Dave Dombrowski said in his presser the other day that they are still looking for a trade partner for him, and he said that he still fully expects him not to be here in 3 weeks. Right. So basically, what they're going to do is if they don't have a trade partner, they're just basically going to cut him in 3 weeks. There was a video circulated around, I think, from his wife of him taking ground balls, so he might be trying to get to first base for other teams. There is literally less than a 1% chance he is on this roster in Clearwater in 3 weeks.
Going to be interesting. Hey, let's talk a little Sixers hoops. Joel Embiid in the lineup tonight, as is Paul George. Kelly Oubre came back a week or so ago. Tyrese Maxey playing 43 minutes or whatever every night. How you feeling about those 10-9-8 76ers?
Well, I made a goal, or a rule and a goal, and I've stuck with it so far, that I was going to set no expectations for this team. No expectations whatsoever. If they won, great. I'm going to cheer them. I'm going to watch all their games. If they lose, I'm not going to be pissed off and scream and cuss at my TV. And I've stuck to that. But this team does have talent. This team does have an opportunity in front of it. They might need to make some moves. But on the flip side, I don't know. I don't know what to think. Joel Embiid's playing better and better every day. Paul George is rounding to the shape. You got to find a way to trim Tyrese Maxey's minutes down. You really do. The kid, the last 4 or 5 games, we've been playing poorly lately. You look at his shot. He's tired. He's gassed already. So, there's so much to do. But I'm going to tell you, the biggest need for the Sixers team to really make a true run they got a chance at the 2 or 3 seed, honestly, at this point, is to find a better backup for Joel Embiid, honestly. Because the games we struggle the most are the games he doesn't play. And he's not going to play games throughout the rest of the year. And God forbid, something happens, he gets injured and misses a month of the season. Bona and Drummond are very good backups to Joel Embiid, depending on the matchup. But when Embiid sits and both those guys have to play, you see a massive drop in this team's production, offensively and defensively. So I don't know who it is. I had Sean Bernard on the other day on my show from DraftKings and Crossing Broad. He didn't even know. He agreed but didn't know. You got to find somebody that can fill Joel Embiid's role when Joel Embiid is not starting games and if he gets hurt. And that's going to be what holds them back this year, is the Joel Embiid-less minutes.
Phil, Tyrese Maxey getting his props, averaging 30 points a game so far. He's a first-team All-Star so far. Great season. He pretty much has put this team on his back. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know if he still is, but the other day he's 3rd in the league in scoring, number 1 in minutes played a game, number 1. What do they call the new term? It's a combination of blocks and steals. Stocks, I think it's what they're calling them now. Leads the league in stocks now as well. I mean, Tyrese Maxey has grown in front of our eyes to becoming one of the superstars, not stars, superstars in this league. And I'm so glad that the league got it right and gave him a starting role in the All-Star game, because he absolutely deserves it. I'm still concerned about the minutes he's playing. I don't need him playing 43 minutes a game every night. He is gassed right now, but this is his team. He is the leader of the Sixers. This team's success is directly correlated to how he does, 100%. But I'm so glad he's finally getting the recognition he deserves in this league.
Hey, Phil, you have been in search of getting to 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. You were at 984, 985, something like that this morning.
986 as of 10 minutes ago.
I was hoping you would be there as of today so we could really, hype that up. You're 14 short, but hey, you're doing better than us.
Hey, I've only been around. My goal was 1 year. We're at 14 months with the STT Sports Network, but hey, sometimes I set goals that are too unachievable, but whatever. I got to do something big, something big to get to 1,000. If you've got any suggestions, let me know. Everybody asks me, what am I going to do when I hit the 1,000? I have no idea. Probably cry that it took so long.
Well, Phil, I don't know if you make New Year's resolutions, but I make a few. And one of them that I made this year was to have either lunch or beers with Phil Stiefel somewhere.
Well, you're retired. I'm retired.
All right, we will make that happen.
I mean, wait. There's no excuses for either of us now.
I've known you for almost 2 years, worked with you for about 15 months now. So, yeah, we got to make it happen here in 2026.
Yeah, let's get that. As long as there's no pumpkin beer on the menu.
Okay. It's a deal.
Hey, Phil, let's hit the last leg of the Philly sports scene. The Flyers struggling, going through a big losing streak, win one, and then last night cut their hearts out. But still, just 3 or 4 points out of a playoff spot in the wild card. Can Rick Tocchet get this thing straightened out and get these guys straight for the final 20 couple games? 33 games,
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I set the same rule for the Flyers as I did the Sixers. No expectations, right? Because I don't want to be let down by these teams anymore. It's as soon as Vlad went down, and we don't know exactly how long he'll be out for, but he's going to be out for a very extended period of time. I feel like it's a broken record. I'm 45, much younger than you stallions over there.
You don't have to say much, but yeah.
Well, sorry, I've got as much gray hair, but not the years on you guys. I feel like I've been saying my entire life as a Flyers fan that we've been searching for a goalie, and unless I don't even know if Danny Briere can make the proper move to bring somebody in to fill Vlad's shoes, who then can be his backup come playoff time or through the playoffs. Without a goalie, they'll probably still squeak into the playoffs. Let me tell you something. It's going to be a quick one and out if they do, because the goaltending situation is just not there. Matvei Michkov, I know he's having a down year. I want to say this about the Flyers. There are already fans out there that are turning on Michkov, and a lot of fans out there saying he's a bust. And I want to remind, Chet, you want to have a beer with me, right? You couldn't have a beer at a bar with Matvei Michkov. He is not even 21 years old yet, all right? And we're labeling the kid a bust, and I think that's nonsense. So lower your expectations for the Flyers, especially with the goaltender situation, and, go easy on Michkov. You know what I mean? I'm not climbing street poles.
There you go.
I'm not. I would fall halfway up it without them greased, okay? Yeah, no, not happening.
Hey, Phil, before we let you go, let everyone know where they can catch your daily morning trending in the AM show and on your social media platforms, because you always have something going on in Twitter.
Yeah, man.
X.
Obviously, trending in the AM is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30. Live 90 minutes, taking thoughts and opinions and everything trending. I do a couple pre-recorded shows, the Eagles Check Down, the Phillies Hit and Run, and the Sixers Full Court Press. Just very short videos on trending topics with those teams right there. I don't have a name. I need a name for a Flyer show. Then I'll debut a Flyer show. And, of course, Fairway to Heaven, the best fantasy and gambling golf show there is in the market. Gambling on golf is better than any other sport there is. That's Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Everything is on the STT Sports Network on YouTube, or you can find me to get links to other places at BeardaKnowledge, right like that. It's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. That's where I'm at on all those channels. Guys, I appreciate coming on again.
We'll do it every 3 or 4 months, Phil. Love it.
And as always, Phil, we appreciate you.
Whatever you want.
Sounds good.
We appreciate you, Phil.
Thank you very much, guys. And as always, bubbles up to y'all.
See ya.
All right. Thanks, bud. Hey, Chet. New Year's here. We're getting through the dead of the winter. What's going on at the Irish Rover Station House?
I had a feeling you were going to ask about that, Bill. The Irish Rover Station House, located in beautiful Langhorne, Pennsylvania, always has terrific food, plus 24 beers on tap. Killer Burger Thursdays with Thursday nights, also bringing $9 wings and $5 giant Stella Pours. Plus, they have happy hour specials, music most weekends, and a $5 Sunday Fun Day menu. It all happens at the Irish Rover. The Irish Rover Station House on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne. Get more information about the Rover at their website, irishroverstationhouse.com.
I like beer because it is good. I drink beer because I should.
Hey, I'm Lou Bryson. I know a lot about whiskey and beer. I don't know a whole lot about Philadelphia sports. I leave that to Bill and Chet on Philly Pressbox Radio. Cheers.
Very
Cheers,
nice.
Lou.
All right, Lou. Hey, Chet, speaking of Philly sports, you went to the Philadelphia Sports Writers Annual Banquet last night. I've heard nothing about it, and I'm excited to hear what you got to say.
Well, thanks for asking, Bill. Yeah, a fantastic event as always. They've been doing this for 121 years, believe it or not. And I've been to most of them, not the 121, but most of them over the last 15 years. Anyway, I think I've been to like 12 out of the last 15, something like that. Always a great time, and it was a blast this time around once again. So here's what you missed out on, Bill.
Philadelphia Eagles, they didn't send anybody to the banquet tonight. That's okay. They didn't send anybody to that last playoff game either.
Even without any current Philadelphia Eagles in the house, the 121st Philadelphia Sports Writers Association Banquet was another memorable one with plenty of highlights beyond Joe Conklin's annual roast of some of Philly's teams and athletes. One of those highlights, a pair of brothers being honored with separate awards. Yeah, Penn head basketball coach Fran McCaffrey receiving the Native Son Award and then presenting the Stan Hochman Award to his big brother, longtime Delaware County Times sports columnist Jack McCaffrey, who's been battling health issues for the past year or so. Princeton lacrosse star Mackenzie Blake was honored as the year's outstanding amateur athlete. The PSWA presents a Living Legend Award each year, and the honoree this time around was Flyers' two-time Stanley Cup champion and still the NHL's single-season penalty minutes record holder, Dave Schultz. Believe it or not, the Hammer is also an author.
I wrote a book, and the reason it took so long is because I was told I had to read them first.
A Special Achievement Award was to be given to legendary Flyers and Spectrum executive Lou Scheinfeld, but he wasn't feeling great and departed before that presentation was to happen. I did catch up with Lou just before the banquet. He was on our Philly Pressbox Radio show just last week. What a great guy. Another Special Achievement Award was presented to longtime women's hoops reporter Mel Greenberg, who founded what became the first national women's basketball top 20 rankings 50 years ago this fall. This year's recipient of the Bill Campbell Award for Excellence in Broadcasting was Temple alum and longtime ESPN anchor Kevin Negandhi, who spoke directly to Bill's daughter Christine in his speech.
I can't express my gratitude to be even mentioned in the same breath as your father. He was a legend, and his impact is felt not just from a generation that heard him in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. As somebody who is standing here, and I had the chance to share a brief story with my 3 kids. So the generation of Bill Campbell continues. His legend continues here with our family as well. So thank you so much.
The teams of the year for 2025, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, of course, and the Villanova football team that went 12-3 and made it to the FCS semifinals. The Sports Writers Association hands out a Living Legend Award or two each year, and this year's honorees were the 2001 Philadelphia 76ers team that made it to the NBA Finals, but came up just a bit short of the title thanks to a star-studded LA Lakers team. On hand to represent that 76ers squad on their 25th anniversary was a key reserve from Larry Brown's team, Jumaine Jones, whom I caught up with just before the banquet.
You know, just to be able to start the season out 10-0, to be able to keep that going, to be able to win every award possible that year, the 6-man coach of the year, defensive player of the year, to win everything except for the championship, which was the disappointment. But, you can't argue playing against arguably 2 best players that ever played the game. Dominant is Shaq and Kobe. Can't be too disappointed, but, we get to celebrate our 25th anniversary this year.
Hey, you mentioned your own coach and the MVP. What are your memories of Larry Brown and Allen Iverson? I'm sure you got some great ones.
Well, it was great just watching so much greatness in Allen Iverson. Another guy who's one of the greatest players that ever played the game, and just, his heart and hustle that he put into the game, and just to be around that night in and night out for 2 years, it just was a blessing. And to see a coach like Larry Brown, who's a living legend, and, to learn from him, throughout my career, I think that's what kept me around the game so long, just stealing a lot of his knowledge that I, took in while I was with him.
Last thing, do you still watch the NBA and the 76ers, and are they going to get back to the playoffs this year?
They'll definitely get to the playoffs. I'm hoping that they get a little healthier. towards the middle of the year after this All-Star break. If we can get Joel Embiid at least 95% and get Paul George back, I think, we got a pretty good chance.
One of the true highlights of the night was the presentation of the Most Courageous Award to Frankfurt High baseball coach Juan Namnun, who is a survivor of male breast cancer. He was diagnosed in 2022 and is now in remission, and these days is doing whatever he can to spread awareness about that rare disease, which is why he considers himself not just a cancer survivor, but a cancer warrior.
I'm honored to be an ambassador with the American Cancer Society, a wonderful organization that I have partnered with. That I guess what I'm excited about is that being in the sports world, being somebody who has been involved with baseball my entire life, I guess I provide a different lens. I provide a different voice. I guess people listen when it's somebody that looks like them a little bit more, and male breast exams are starting to become a little more normal in the last 12 months because of some of the work we've done.
Great to meet Juan, who is, by the way, a major Phillies fan and says he believes in Rob Thompson and is optimistic about the 2026 Phils. Speaking of which, the PSWA recipient of this year's Good Guy Award, given to a player or coach or executive who is lauded for dealings with the media and fans, is none other than the Phillies skipper. In accepting the award, Thompson said he can't wait to get down to Clearwater next week and for spring training to get started in a few weeks. He said even with the loss of Ranger Suarez, the Phillies starting rotation is a major strain.
We're going to see Andrew Painter come aboard. Young guy who's got a chance to be a star. If he stays healthy, he's got a chance to be a star for many years here in Philadelphia. I'm excited about that. We got Zach Wheeler coming back. He's going to be back early in the season. He's going to be pitching well again. We got Jesus Luzardo, who we got in a trade last offseason. Aaron Nola is going to pitch for Team Italy in the WBC, so he's going to get a head start. He's going to have a bounce back here. So I really feel good. I'm forgetting somebody. Oh! The guy that I thought should have. Yeah, you are. When Wheels went down last year, Santi grabbed the pitching staff by the neck and ran with it. And he led that staff. And I think, me personally, he should have won the Cy Young.
Yes, that is Christopher Sanchez, a few feet to Topper's left. Sanchez was on the dais because he was honored as the year's outstanding professional athlete. Sanchez's speech, well, was even shorter than one of his 3-pitch strikeouts.
To me, it's an honor to receive this award, and it makes me work harder and to keep going. And thank you for everything.
Yeah, that's it. Getting back to Rob Thompson, he earlier this week seemed to take exception to the view that the Phillies are running it back. Even though outside of a couple of outfielders, it will be the same lineup of veterans most games, something that Joe Conklin had some fun with.
Even the great Dan Baker begs to differ. Ladies and gentlemen, these changes for the Phillies, there are none. This is running it back, Rob.
Joe Conklin, always a hit. And as Joe noted at the very top of this piece, there weren't any Eagles players on hand, but you know who did show up? Yes, indeed, Swoop and a bunch of Birds cheerleaders. Fun night, all in all, at the Doubletree by Hilton in Cherry Hill for the 121st PSWA Banquet.
Hey, but it was good. I appreciate Rob Thompson's optimism. I wouldn't expect anything else.
Well, of course. Yeah, what are you going to say?
Right. But we know better because we've been around a long time.
Yeah. I mean, well, they did win 96 games last year, and they may not have a better lineup this year, but, you know, maybe, just maybe, Andrew Painter will be the real deal. Maybe Justin Crawford will work out playing center field. Who knows?
Well, you know, I get that, and you certainly hope they do well, but they're kids. They're going to struggle because they're rookies, and you know, Justin Crawford's liable to come up, set the world on fire, hit 600 for the first month, and then hit 100 for a month. You know, that's just part of being young and having to learn in the big league. So
he's a ground ball hitter without a lot of power. So man, if he hits
a lot of speed,
a lot of speed. So yeah. Let's hope for the best, Bill.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, I'm just going to provide you useless information.
Okay.
For once, Fran McCaffrey.
Yes.
Fran McCaffrey has a son who is also a basketball coach. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He is coach at Butler. But the key point to that is Connor McCaffrey's the boyfriend of Caitlin Clark.
Did not know that. And did
So
I
now
hear
the loop
Caitlin
is closed.
Caitlin Clark is having a birthday today? I think I heard that somewhere today also.
I don't know. She's 24 years old. I think it might have been today or yesterday, sometime recent. Yeah, 24 years old. But Connor McCaffrey, Franny's son, is her significant other.
Interesting. And the banquet was great. It really was. They do such a good job every year. I am part of the PSWA, but I don't do a whole lot of anything in terms of the planning of the banquet. I go to an occasional meeting, but they have people who are far smarter than me organizing all of that. They do a wonderful job. So it was great. And in addition to what I showed you there, it was great to catch up with Joe Watson, Bob Hound Kelly, Lou Nolan, Phil Martelli was there. So, a lot of familiar faces on the Philadelphia sports scene. So very cool event every year. And that's why I keep going back.
How was the attendance? Was it good?
400 plus. So,
nice.
They could squeeze more in there. I think they had over 800 that several years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but 400 is good. And they pretty much filled the room as is, but if they had more, they could have, knocked out one of the walls and expanded that whole auditorium into an even bigger joint. But it was a great crowd and everybody really had a good time. So, and yeah, Joe Conklin always kills it.
Always good. Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, speaking of good, what could be better than tailgating with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia? Bob Cavanaugh and the gang of Cavs Philly Tailgates.
Talking about these guys, Cavs Philly Tailgates has been cooking up a terrific catering business for 35 years now. Cav, a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events, parties, you name it. But of course, Cavs is known best for those tailgates before sporting events. And well, there won't be any more Eagles tailgates for a while, not till September. There will be Phillies tailgates before the home opener in late March. I'll be there. And another before a Phil's Guardians game in May. Get details on those and other events at Cavs website, phillytailgates.com. And if you have any questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go.
There you go. Hey, I wanted to mention this. I meant to write the name down. Our buddy Mike Barnes, your buddy,
yes,
and our friend, is now running a charity of his own.
Together We Dance. Yes.
Together We Dance. And on March 1st, they will be in Clearwater for the Phillies-Yankees game, and it's an all kind of trip you can win or be part of or whatever. Shane Victorino is going to be part of that.
Yes.
It's going to be a big event in Clearwater for the Phillies-Yankees on March 1.
Yeah, Shane Victorino, a great friend of all of Mike's charitable organizations that he's involved with. So I got to meet Shane through Mike a couple of years ago. They had a little Hawaiian thing outside Xfinity Live, as it was called then. Yeah, Shane, a cool dude, and Mike is doing a great job with this new foundation of his that he began, I guess, early last year or in the spring. They've been like really banging it out with events over these 8 or 9 months that started.
Nope. Shout out to Mike. He does a great job. And if anybody wants to be part of that, I think you can go to his website or his Facebook page or to him directly and get the details on how you can be part of that trip to Clearwater or maybe go to the game if you're already going to be in Clearwater.
Bill, I'm going to have a random chat for you in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, we didn't get to talk with Phil, or you and I got to talk about the Hall of Fame voting that was announced last week. Chase Utley did not get in, but he came very close. Are you surprised at how much support he's gotten in a short amount of time and how little support J-Roll is getting?
Yeah. I'm really surprised that Utley did as well as he did. He finished third, and you know what? He's got enough votes that he's probably going to get in, and he might get in as soon as next year. Next year's class, Buster Posey's probably gets in.
Yeah, that's about it.
He's not a lock in my mind, certainly not as a first ballot guy.
Right.
So I think Chase has a really good chance of getting in next year. His voting actually went up 20% from last year to this year. Jimmy, he was low enough that he might not ever get in. And as I've said all along, surprising. Yeah, as I've said all along, there shouldn't be one without the other in my mind with those two. Back to the Trammell-Whitaker. Trammell's in and Whitaker never got a sniff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. And I don't get it because I think they, are comparable in terms of the quality of, player that they were. Rollins, of course, won an MVP. Was he rookie of the year also?
Yes.
Rollins? Yeah.
I think he was.
And so, the numbers are similar. Rollins actually had better numbers in many of the categories. So I don't understand it at all, but I'm not a baseball writer who gets the vote.
Yeah, and along with that, Bobby Abreu and Cole Hamels got some support too.
Yeah,
Bobby Abreu is a career 300 hitter. I certainly was part of a lot of bad Phillies teams.
He was.
So he doesn't get quite the shout out, but when you look at the career numbers, Bobby Abreu is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think Chase Utley is going to get in next year. I really do, because of, like you said, how he's been progressing and the fact that next year's newcomers, all in all, pretty weak bunch of candidates.
If Chase doesn't get in, it's either going to be Posey or it's going to be nobody.
Yeah.
And they've done nobody before.
They have. Yeah.
All right. You say you teased us with a random Chet. What do you got?
Let's do it. Yeah. Well, you know what, Bill? This is hard to believe, but at the end of April, we will be celebrating the 12th anniversary of Philly Pressbox Radio. Hard to believe, Harry. We started late April of 2014. We were just kids back then, Bill. So mark your calendars for that. But this month, we are celebrating a different anniversary. See, it was the first Wednesday of 2021 that we debuted, Random Chet. Hard to believe, but
who knew?
5 years ago. Yeah, I keep track of this kind of crap, Bill. It was 5 years ago this month, and the first one happened to be about National Bobblehead Day, which is January 7th every year. But then the second and third ones, well, they were both pretty memorable. And I love watching your reaction in these two that I'm going to play for you right now as we go back in time 5 years. So let's find that and do it up.
Can't wait.
I know. There we go. Here we go.
All right. Hey, Chet.
We're ringing the bell, Bill. You know what that means.
Random Chet time.
That's quite a bell.
That is.
I apologize in advance for this one, Bill. I'm pretty sure that in our 6 3/4 years of doing this show, I've never said the word vagina on here. But I saw this story yesterday, and I just had to repeat it for folks who maybe somehow didn't see it. As you may know, Gwyneth Paltrow is an actress. She also has a company, a lifestyle brand called Goop. And just over a year ago, she began selling a scented candle that's called, This Candle Smells Like My Vagina. It is a hot seller, by the way. We got word on Monday, though, that one of those $75 candles, $75, which I don't have, by the way. One of those candles exploded in the home of a woman in the UK, not in the woman. As she put it, the candle exploded and emitted huge flames with the bits flying everywhere. She is okay, and let's just be thankful, Bill, that it was that candle that exploded, not this one, because she has another candle, and if you can see it on the screen, if that one exploded, that could have quite the explosion. Goop.com, $75 a piece if you want to get one for the missus.
I'm kind of speechless.
I'm ringing the bell. I'm ringing the bell because I think I have to do this.
I tell you what, Random Chet I still haven't recovered from last week's Random Chet. So I was actually going to send and say maybe we need to filter this before we put it up there. So we didn't do that. So let's see what you got. Oh,
right.
boy. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
No filter needed this week, Bill. It's going to be okay. So here's the deal. Some crappy weather in the Philly, Jersey area this week. A little cold, a little damp a couple of days ago, a little snow even, but it never fails. You go out to run a few errands or do some shopping, and you always see one or two of these guys, Bill, the year-round shorts guy. I see these guys, and I always wonder, why? Is it a macho thing? Are they just uncomfortable with pants touching the lower half of their legs? What is it? I don't get it. You'll even see the year-round shorts guy sometimes wearing a jacket or a heavier coat, maybe even a hat. But yes, with shorts. If my wife happens to be with me, she will always say to me, "Isn't he cold?" And I'll always say to her, "I can't say for sure, but I'm going to guess that he's not. Should I go ask him?" But no, I never do. And, sometimes you even see these guys working outside. They're working out in the cold weather in shorts, like this mailman. But usually they're just cruising around, walking or doing some shopping or whatever. So, I wear shorts in the summer, of course, but if it's under, say, 55 degrees, nope. I guess I'm just not that macho guy. And, Bill, I don't know if you remember the Bud Light commercials. I think they were mostly radio commercials, but they had the Bud Light Real Men of Genius commercials, which I loved. And I don't know if they did one for this guy, but if not, let me say it. Here's to you, year-round shorts guy.
Well, hey, throw up the mailman again. I want to see the mailman.
Yeah, the mailman in his year-round shorts. Here he is right here.
Because you know what, Chet? If you look at his face, he's cold. I don't care what his legs are thinking. That face tells me that mailman is cold. I don't know. I guess it's a mental thing. It's like those offensive linemen that wear the cut off shirts to show their muscles while they're out playing in 0 degrees.
There you go.
Boy, if I didn't need to see those again.
I figured it's been 5 years. You could handle it. So maybe we'll do it again on the 10th anniversary of Random Chet.
Well, you'll have an opportunity this weekend to stand at your window and watch people walk by.
I had that same thought today. We're getting 8 to 12 inches of snow, allegedly, this Sunday. And I bet you if I, do venture out, I'm going to see at least one or two guys walking around in shorts.
Yeah. Well, offer them a pumpkin beer.
I shall. I have one left in my fridge after this.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Hey, we're down to just 2 NFL games. How did we do with our picks this week? I went for the underdogs. I don't think that went too well for me, although they were all good games. I'll say that.
Yeah, your Denver pick did pan out with the help of some controversial officials' calls and non-calls that went badly for the Bills. But your 3 other underdog picks, not so well. The Niners, Texans, and Bears, they all cost you. So as a result, here's what happened. I went 3-1. Boop was 2-2. You, Bill, 1-3. So you are back in your traditional spot of the bottom of the standings.
Yeah. Well, you better not get too comfortable with me.
There's only 3 games left. 3 games left to pick.
I will be back.
Not this year.
Hey, speaking of, before we get to our picks right quick, you mentioned the calls in the Denver-Buffalo game. What'd you think about that call? I'm sure everyone knows the one we're talking about, the catch interception.
The catch that turned into an interception.
All in the same breath, basically.
As you'll recall, I was out at a live event seeing a band somewhere, an Alice Cooper tribute band, actually. And I was keeping track of the games, and then you sent me a video of that. And, of course, I watched it numerous times afterwards. I actually think they got the call right, because for it to be a catch, I think he would have had to hold on to it longer and, still have possession as he was on the ground moving around. But instead, the defender ended up with the ball in his hands. I think they got the call right.
I still don't know. And if you look at the post that I made, I don't know, there was 50 comments or whatever. And it's probably 50-50. People think it's a catch. People think it was an interception.
Yeah. And then there were some pass interference calls that weren't made or could have been made. So a lot of questionable calls.
They're every week. They're every game. I don't know. I don't know what you do about that, but it keeps on happening. All right,
I have Boop's picks. I just opened the phone and there's Boop's picks.
All right, Sunday the 3:00 game. Patriots at the Broncos. Patriots -4.5 as of last night when I put this together. We talked about Sean Payton's second team quarterback Broncos.
And I say this every week, but I don't look at Boop's picks or comments in advance. I just open it up and Boop says, I wouldn't know Jarrett Stidham, the quarterback, if he sat between me and Chet in a well-lighted movie theater to watch Casablanca. But I do know he is going to the Super Bowl. Boop is picking the Broncos 27-20. Wow. That would be a great story. And part of me wants to see that, but I just don't see it happening. I got to go with the Pats in this one.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I want to go with the Pats too, but I tell you what, Sean Payton is kind of a jerky kind of guy,
So we hear, yes.
He's a heck of a football coach.
He is.
So I'm not gonna say I would be surprised if the Broncos won this game, but I'm gonna go Patriots.
All right.
Sunday 6:30 game, Rams at the Seahawks. Seahawks -2.5. This has a chance to be a really good one.
It does. Boop says, even though Seattle has not been in my Chiefs division in 100 years, I still cannot root for them. 2 postseason road wins by a field goal tells me all I need to know about L.A. The Rams win this one, says Boop, 25-22. Well, Boop, I disagree. I'm taking the home team, the Seahawks, this week. So we have 2 different. So Boop could surpass me if he gets both of those right.
Well, I'm not going to pass you because I'm going to take the same teams as you did. Seattle. I went against Seattle last week with the 49ers because I didn't think Sam Darnold could be that. Sam Darnold against the 49ers was tremendous.
Yeah.
And
they should be real good games, both of them.
And I just don't like Sean McVay. I don't know why. Just don't like him.
And, if we do get that snow that we're talking about, I am just going to sit my ass on the couch all day Sunday. I'll worry about the shoveling on Monday. I'm going to sit back, relax, watch some good NFL football.
Well, maybe you better go out tomorrow before the snow comes and get you some more pumpkin beer so you can sit there all day.
Oh, I have plenty of beer in my fridge. Don't you worry about that, Bill.
All right. Hey, great guest tonight of Phil Stiefel. Who's coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week back on our regular Wednesday 7 p.m. time slot?
Well, next week, Bill, our guest is a legend who is kind enough to visit us pretty much every year, a week or week and a half before the Super Bowl. He is an Eagles Hall of Famer, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, a Super Bowl winning coach, not with the Eagles, unfortunately, and one of the most respected guys in the football world and beyond. Back on our show for a 5th straight year and 6th time overall, the great Dick Vermeil. And you know what, Bill? Because you enjoyed our revisiting of Random Chet so much this week, I'm going to have a new Random Chet for you and our viewers next week.
We'll make it better than the first one.
Come on. That was fun. That was fun.
It was fun.
Let's
Anything else before we wrap it up? We got any loose ends?
I got nothing else. Let's see. Bob Moser likes New England to win.
Oh, no, move back up and where Bob says, yes, Bill will win.
Oh, God. Yes, Bill will win. Okay. Well,
Bob
clearly,
knows.
You and I have the same pick. So if you win, I win. So you ain't going to win the competition.
Oh, he's talking about it in the long haul. I'm a long haul.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Somehow
Marathon,
Denver wins this game, says Robbie. That play is a so-so 50-50. The one we were talking about.
Hey, I got something for you.
Yes.
Do you know who Oz Perlman is?
No, I do not.
He's a mentalist. He's a mentalist.
Okay.
And he's been to a whole bunch of NFL camps. He's been to college camps.
Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I've seen, you've sent me a clip and I've seen some of the other clips.
He's fabulous. He's fabulous.
Yes.
Well, back in August or whatever, he went to the Rams camp and he had Devontae Adams do some deal, and as a result, the Rams were going to go to the Super Bowl.
Huh.
So were the Denver Broncos.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So here we are, one weekend before. If this guy picked the right teams in August, that would be pretty dang scary. Check out Oz Perlman. I'm addicted.
Yeah.
I'm addicted.
I have seen his clip. Yeah.
I said to my family, they're like, you're nuts. I said, yeah, the guy is just tremendous. Check him out. OZ.
Yep.
But he goes by Oz. Oz. But it's OZ Perlman. Check him out. It's really good.
Good stuff. I got nothing else, Bill. Wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up. Let's thank tonight's special guest, Phil Stiefel. Our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, PPCC, 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Press Box Radio next Wednesday, January the 28th at 7 p.m. You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel, and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel, and listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans.
Happy trails to you, till we meet again.